Yeah, what up, YouTube? Here with a recap of the Magsayo Gary Russell Jr. fight that happened a few weeks ago. Here to give y'all my post-fight thoughts on it. I had the fight score 116 to 112 in the favor of the undefeated now WBC Featherweight champion Magsayo. He basically outworked Gary Russell Jr. with his volume and pressure and his combos. Gary Russell wasn't out of the fight at all. However, his right shoulder was injured during the fight. He injured it in the fourth round, but during the post-fight interview, he had told all us, the fans, and everybody that was there, that he had heard it during his camp. And if you're tapped in with Gary Russell, you will know he's got a list of shoulder injuries all throughout his career. He's been inactive for some time. Mind you, I'm not making any excuses for Gary Russell, but valiant effort nonetheless by Gary Russell, because his defense was showcased in this fight. His jab in the beginning of the fight, before he hurt his lead hand or lead arm, pardon me, because it was a shoulder injury, not a hand injury. Um, his jab was able to keep Magsayo at bay and stop him at his tracks. But after the fourth round, after he tweaked his right shoulder, he wasn't able to utilize the jab, which was probably his best punch other than the straight left. Um, he had to rely on his footwork and his pivots and using it at different angles and his movement and ring generalship to defend against Magsayo's offense. And he wasn't doing a bad job at all. Not saying the fight would have went any different, because in the beginning rounds, Magsayo, his volume was impressive, and his combos and his body work was impressive. He came out aggressive from the beginning of the bell, and the right man won the fight. Magsayo, his work rate earned himself the win, and he's your new undefeated WBC Featherweight champion. Now, the featherweight division is slept on. It's not the most compelling division in the sport. You have Kiko Martinez and Josh Warrington about to fight next month, and that's for the IBF featherweight title. Then you have Leigh Woods, and yeah, he's got a variety of opponents he could fight. Gary Russell Jr., however, he did let the fans and everybody that was in attendance and tapped in from home or whatever, that he was hurt, and that's why he lost that fight, because his right shoulder. Do I want to see a rematch, and does that qualify as an excuse? An injury is always going to be a excusable reason to why you didn't perform at your best. I don't know. The fight could have went either way. I thought Magsayo, from the beginning of the fight was, the momentum of the fight was leaning towards his favor anyways. But, Gary Russell Jr. is one of the more recognizable names at the featherweight division. So with that being said, it wouldn't hurt for Magsayo to have a rematch, because it's not a lot of lucrative names out there for him to fight. He could fight in the Philippines, and in the Eastern market, he's always going to draw over there. If WBC has him, lined up to fight, his mandatories, he could always, do that. But if he wants to, keep building himself in the Western Hemisphere as a marketable name, especially in America and PBC, then he's gonna, want to fight, recognizable names. And at that weight class, it ain't too many, recognizable names there for him to fight. So with that being said, for those of y'all that's in tune with the sport of boxing, who would y'all like to see Magsayo defend his newly earned WBC featherweight title next? And what should Gary Russell do? He's been inactive for a while. Like I said, he let it be known himself that he's got he's had problems with injuries all throughout his career, amateur and professionally. With that being said, what would y'all like to see Gary Russell do next in the future? Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are for this fight between Gary Russell Jr. and Mark Magsayo. How y'all had the score, how y'all viewed it. Comment if y'all want. Make a video respond if y'all want. Share, like, subscribe if y'all want. All that. And yeah, that's it for me. That's the review of this fight. And yeah, y'all be safe and stay healthy. And yeah, peace.